Sometimes you got to make. Let's say you had a kid that was living in the past and pity party and all that. Sometimes you got to make them mad. Let's say you had a friend, or let's say you had a college roommate and he was all depressed and didn't have any motivation. Sometimes you got to make them mad, get them motivated. Because when a person gets mad, see, even with these fake reality bubbles, making people, it's going to make people mad. It's going to make you mad when you really wake up. Let's say somebody was being abused and they decided to stay in it. I mean, it makes you mad that they're stupid enough to stay in it. And it's like, you got to make them mad. Because after, what's the 5 stages of grief, right? The 3rd stage is anger, I think. But when you can move, the faster you move through the stages, the faster you get up off your behind and get up and fight the fight of faith. I know what people think. I know. I've talked to the people. I've seen it. From college roommates to friends to exes to, it's just a simulation. You gotta wake up to it, but you gotta rise above it. You gotta rise above it. You gotta get mad first though and say, I'm mad as Hades and I ain't taking it no more. I'm gonna conquer the world by the grace of God. I'm gonna go do what He wants me to do. Stand in faith. Give up the old flesh mind and walk in the Spirit. And if you have to leave everybody behind, leave them. Be that. Hopefully 1 or 2 might go with you, but leave them all behind. If they don't want to rise up, leave them behind. You try to as you're leaving, say bye, adios, and they're gonna get mad. That's what you want them to do. You want them to get mad. You want them to get mad at themselves. They might take it out on you, but they're really mad at themselves because they're stuck in some kind of loop, some kind of time loop. And their music, look, the music's keeping you in a time loop. The TV, the news, the bloodline, the culture lie, you've got to rise above it. I mean, maybe other people can still be connected to it and rise above it. I can't. I had to. If I'm rubbing shoulders with the past, it pulls me back to the past, and I don't want to do that anymore. New creature, every day, renewed in the spirit of your mind. New creature, just past a state patrolman. He's trying to catch somebody. New creature. If you get a flat tire in life, you just pull over the side of the road and you change it and you keep going to your destination. If you have to get mad, okay. If I had a flat, it's like 30 some degrees right now. If I had a flat, I'd pull over. I'd say, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'd get mad about it and just get it done, You got to get it. You got to get up. If you don't like your situation, you got to get up and do something different. It's insanity to keep doing the same thing. People have been doing the same thing for 20 years, right? And I see them complain about the narcissist or about their bad spouse. I mean, I've been there. I mean, I've had the flying monkeys try to keep me in a bad situation. But when they don't have any flying monkeys and everybody's saying, you need to get out of that dangerous situation, and they stay in it, it's on them. They got to get mad. You can't fix them. You can't save them. You can't do anything. All you can do is go about your business and pray for them. When somebody's angry, that's just a stage of the grief and process. Then they move over to depression. Once you go through it enough, you can go through it pretty much. You could go through it in 5 days, but it usually takes about 30 days. But once you wake up to what really is real, then you move into acceptance. And once you're into acceptance, it's over. You've already accepted the reality. Like I woke up today and I'm like, man, I'm back to normal. Nothing could be said, nothing could be done, nothing could happen to pull me out of my peace. Nothing. Back to normal. You've got to go through the phases though, and you got to know it's real. You're human. You've got to have some grace on yourself. If you have grace with others, you got to have grace on yourself. If you forgive others, you got to forgive yourself. But if you stay in the loop forever, you'll never be happy. You'll never be happy. The anger is the next step to push you higher. Really, for real. That's the next step. I forget the stages right now. Shock. I can't remember the stages, but I know anger is probably the third stage, and then you go into a little bit of depression, and it could be both at the same time. You're depressed, and that's why you got angry. I don't know. And then you go into acceptance, and you move on, and it's a new life. It's a new life. And don't look back. So if you escaped a narcissist, gaslighting, abusive person who was doing whatever to you, and you were there 20 years, 30 years, and you escaped, praise God, you escaped the fake reality that you were living. You can't really blame anybody else. You're trying to save that person. They don't want to be healthy. Let them go. You never know. You might walk away and that person hits rock bottom and they get saved, and then they call you back up. You're doing your thing, and now you say, I got saved. I'm a saved person. You sure you? Sit down, talk to me. They'd have to really give you a time and day to being born again, you know. But most people don't really have a time and day to be born again. I got saved at 24 years old. It was March. I don't remember the exact day, but it was March of 2020. I was 24 years old. It was March, and I was 24 years old. I remember that day. I thought I was saved. Before I got saved, I was going to the bookstores looking for all these guru books and new age books and trying to find the truth. And then I just turned the radio on and Charles Stanley was preaching. I got saved. And then after you get saved, you're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. You got all those programs running in your mind, you know, the thoughts, the programs, the responses, the trigger points, and all that stuff's running in your mind. And so as those trigger points kick in, as those trigger points affect you, you start to heal from each one, you know. You start to heal. You eventually, if you do enough research and study, you'll really see that this place is just a repeat training program. And the training program, the face-to-face cutting and turning and sharpening, you know, the saints sharpen the saints. When you're in the flesh mind, you cut each other and you fight with each other. When you're in the spirit mind, you sharpen each other, you know. See, the reality is everything is the spirit. Because mankind fell, he's in the flesh. And what he does in the energy of the flesh is anti. And so that's why he has a devil as his king in the flesh mind. And so when you're in the spirit walk, that's the kingdom of God, right? And so The hive mind cannot pull you out of the spirit walk unless you go and rub shoulders with them and become a part of their delusions. And this is why it's going to make people angry, because when you really step out of the delusions, you're actually becoming more free and more free and more peaceful and more peaceful. And God is going to, all the hard days, He's going to turn all the what's that verse about, all the moth-eaten days into blessing, you know? He's going to turn it all into a blessing. Even though you can't see it, but He's going to flip it upside down. Back right side up, to be honest with you. Not upside down, right side up. Because you were upside down when you're in the energy of the flesh. People got to get mad. You got to get mad of dealing with the same kind of junk. You got to get mad, people. And if you don't have the tools to really step into the new life, because all your tools you knew were the tools of the world, the flesh, and pride. So if you don't have the tools, you got to start listening to some preachers. You got to start listen to some born again podcast. Born again. You must be born again. If you don't know what that means you need to be born again. Under a bridge. I had to roll down the windows to get the fog off my window. When you really do love somebody and they want to stay in their fake reality, you sometimes got to make them mad. Push them to where they got to reach down. You got to reach down somewhere and get some strength. And you have to project that onto somebody else. Fine. Do whatever you got to do. Just, you got to get up. Get up. Get up and fight the fight of faith. This is not a doctrinal teaching right now. This is a motivational teaching. This is just motivation. This lady in front of me is stopping me from getting to the order button. You got to get mad at the system, mad at yourself, mad at the people who hurt you and left you for dead, and say, I'm going to get up, even if I have to by myself. You got to do it. You got to do it. It is what it is. That's what you got to say. It is what it is. You got to get motivated. If you can't get it from anybody else, you got to get it from within.
How are you?
Hey. I'm good, thank you. You got to get motivated. Sometimes you need a trainer. Sometimes you need a push a kick in the behind, you know. I'm telling you, it's a turning point. There's a turning point in everybody's life. Don't stay in the depression. Don't stay in the anger. Move to the... If you need the anger to rise up, go ahead. This too shall pass, right? Get up. Be strong for your kids. Be strong for yourself. Be strong for God. Be strong for somebody. If your parents are dead or people are gone, be strong for somebody. Don't let anybody keep you down in the pity party. That's the devil. The devil wants you to be in a pity party. That's not from God. Pity party's not from God. Okay, let's say you go through it for a season. Yeah, that's fine. But you got to get up. Get up. You don't see any way out. Then if you can't see any way out, then the only good thing about that, the good thing about it is there's only one way, and that's up. I was a maintenance man at the Wilmington Treatment Center, and those people would come in there, and they were all addicted to drugs and all. And a few people, usually because they're in there, they were all sneaking. They couldn't take anything. They would sneak the cigarettes in. Well, I think they could smoke, but they would sneak their drugs in, and then you'd find out they kicked a couple. They'd always, about once a month, they kick people out because some man and woman was over there fraternizing, having sex, and they wasn't supposed to do that. It was ridiculous. And I would be in the meetings and hearing all this. I was the maintenance man. I wasn't a counselor. And I'd just be listening to this. I was thinking, these people are crazy. I'm thinking, why do they want to stay in this? And their parents would come visit them, and everybody'd come see them. And you were like, why are y'all enabling this? You would think about, I would think, why are y'all enabling these adult children to stay in their delusions? I'm serious now. I don't know how long I worked there, but I just remember we'd have these meetings about the finances and about maintenance and about this, that, and the other, what the plan was for the next week, you know. And then I think I worked at a few hotels or apartments down there. Yeah, I've worked at one hotel, and I saw craziness, and it's like, what's wrong with people? Go get two jobs, and that second job, you just put it in the bank. And within a year, you take that money and you go buy you your little house. It don't have to be fancy or big. Go buy you a mobile home out in the woods somewhere. Buy you something, just get away from, and then quit that second job and chill. Anyway, you got to get mad. You got to get mad. Like if you got a health issue, get mad at it. Start studying Dr. Berg and everybody else and get mad. Get healthy. You got to get angry. And if you need to get angry at other people at first, fine. But then you get angry at yourself for believing the lie and letting somebody put you in the... let somebody over 20 years put you in a bind. Get mad at yourself and say, at least I'm still alive. At least I made it. At least I still got some years left, you know. If you're in your mid 40s, what do you got? 45, 55. You got 20 more years, 30 more years. If you stay healthy. If you start now, cut back to drinking. Don't drink. Don't smoke. Don't eat any sugar. Get you some extra virgin olive oil. Get you some MCT oil. Walk around the block. Cut off the TV. Don't sit down. And you just, all the time, right now, in the now, you're working towards that goal. Right now, in the now, you move towards that goal. Every step is towards that goal. It has to appear. It has to appear, because if you step into who you really are right now, it has to appear. It has to appear. It has to appear. It has to appear, because you step into that identity now. It might not be in front of you right now, but it's off in the distance. And this is a hologram, and it has to appear. If you act like you are in 10 years, it has to appear, and it'll probably appear before the 10 years. Seriously.